Yay Media Group.
Welcome to a long-awaited brand new episode of the Fitish podcast. I know it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a vacation.
No, we didn't take an actual vacation. We just took a break from recording
Yeah.
a podcast. We've been living life and we just needed a reset a little bit. We've been traveling both, well, individually for work and so anyway, we've heard you and you're angry with us now. We are doing really well, actually. A quick life update, right? Remy is pretty successfully potty trained. So very exciting.
Yeah.
We're still having some like pooping in the toilet
Yeah, like
struggles,
we're 90% there.
but he's doing so good. And I'll say this about potty training. If you are wondering if it's the right time, if you are struggling with it, da 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 da, and after speaking to some of our other kind of parent friends we've made at school, the right time is when they're ready. And it actually only took us like about, I don't know, a week to kind of not have any PP accidents and stuff like that. He's still sleeping in a diaper at night. But anyway, so a school and everyone said, sometimes they're just not ready. So he was definitely ready. He didn't really want to do it because I see like wearing a diaper is kind of nice.
Yeah, it has to align with when they're ready, because I think they're ready way before you are. And when you're ready, because I think Remy could have done it weeks before,
Yeah.
but the mental thought, the mental process is way harder than actually getting to do it, no? Like, just when you decide you're going to do it and you set up the environment for it, things are way easier than you made it seem in your head.
You almost have to revert back to that newborn stage where you're bringing out a big diaper bag and you're bringing, a ton of wipes and change of clothes. And because when you're potty training, you just have to go for it. Like you have to take them out in public. I think that's always the excuse we were making. Like, oh, we would start on a Friday, right? So if you're curious how we did it, we just started going, diaper free at home. And kind of, naked, don't do underwear out of the gate. That was my mistake because then they have that contact. They feel like they are wearing something. But we would just chill at home with no diaper and constantly ask him if he needed to go to the bathroom. And that pretty quickly turned into him telling us. But the problem is then a friend would say, do you want to go to the park? Do you want to go out to eat? And we would look at each other and say, let's just throw a diaper on him because we didn't want to risk it. We didn't want to deal with accidents and that sort of thing because we didn't feel like he was ready. But we just decided we're never going to be totally ready. So there were a couple accidents that happened. I would bring a change of shorts and a bunch of pairs of underwear. And anyway, again, it only took like a week and a half. It was really, really nice. So it's kind of amazing. But yeah, I agree with you. I think we've had a lot of changes in our life, better than anyone else in the last year with all the moving and sleeping disruptions and just a lot of change. So we just felt that we wanted to be kind of stable and have him feel confident and good about our new house and his room and his bathroom. And anyway, that's where we're at. So now it's on to tackling the next issue, which is sleep. After our 3-year checkup at the pediatrician, his biggest issues with us, which I like sharing with y'all. Remy's doing amazing developmentally, so we're very lucky and very, happy about all of that. Um, but he drinks too much orange juice. And, well, according to the pediatrician, he doesn't want kids drinking, even if it's fresh squeezed or anything, he doesn't want them having juice every day or multiple sippy cups of juice. So we had to cut back on that. And then Fran sleeps with him almost every night, and his sleep's quite disrupted because he can't go to sleep by himself. I was telling a girlfriend who was visiting this weekend about that. And, she was the opposite end of the spectrum with her children. Claudia
Dump them.
Claudia said that she didn't even, I think she's fine with me sharing this, she doesn't care. Her kids are amazing, so there was no issue with this, but they, never co-slept. She said she doesn't even remember, she doesn't think they even had the crib in the room, which, Fran and I were like, "Oh, aren't you supposed to have the crib in the room for a little
Well,
bit?"
also, we lived in a house that was a 3-story townhome, and his bedroom was in the bottom. So
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, they were like baby, nursery, done, So it is interesting. You talk to friends that were so different than you with kind of the infant stage, and her kids turned out great. Her kids are thriving, and I'm sure they get a lot better quality sleep every night than Francisco and I get. So that's kind of the next challenge here. And it's going to be quite a difficult one. So I think that's where parenting, it's hard, right? Like with your partner, like with the person that you are co-parenting with. It's hard because you're not going to agree on how to parent all of the time. And I think that was a big thing for Fran and I. And I said to Claudia, I wanted to sleep train and I wanted to do that, not out of the gate, but I wanted to do that once it was kind of healthy to do so. And your heart couldn't stand it.
No, no, no. The things that I believe
Well, this
you
is
guys
what it
don't
was.
get it. What it's happening is that we moved so much. We
No, I'm talking about before we left Dallas.
Oh yeah, but he was already sleeping in his own crib throughout the night. He was sleeping in his own space throughout the night. Then we moved out of Dallas, and the whole dynamic changed.
Well, we've
And
been
then
in
we
this house for over 6 months now. So, anyway, I was just saying the pediatrician said, "You
no, no, no.
say we don't get it, but we
I
do get it."
want to be able to figure out a way that it's seamless, that it's
You put him to bed last night and you slept with him the whole night.
well, yes, because I was exhausted. Like I fall asleep.
Right. Anyway, the pediatrician told us we shouldn't be laying down with him to go to bed, that we should just be sitting there reading a book. But anyway, these are the things, right? These are the things that Fran and I consistently don't agree on. And we're
It's not that we don't agree on. It's like I haven't figured out the way
what
to well, I sneak out of his bedroom every night and he comes back in the midnight. So, and yes, I go back there because it's the easiest way to do, just to fall back asleep, and I'm waiting for him to go to sleep and then go back to my bed.
So if anyone's curious, Fran will be attending whatever college we send Remy to,
100%.
sharing a room and likely a bed.
Not a bed. I think we're only gonna share a room by then.
Well, that's good. But other than that, we're very happy here. We had really more my close friends. You've become friends, but it was so crazy to think that I've been friends with Claudia now for, gosh, I think like 15 years, something 15, 16 years, something like that. Like kind of one of my longest friendships, in the sense of, it's not that I'm not friendly with people I grew up with, but someone that I still really keep in touch with and spend time with. And moving abroad in a lot of ways is difficult because you don't have that level of connection anymore when it was so easy, when you live in the same city. And even then, though, we were speaking about how, with her kids' ages, because they're older than Remy and they're in a different kind of phase of their life. And whenever we would spend time together, it was very rarely the kind of quality time we had this past weekend. Her and her husband came to celebrate her 40th birthday here in Mexico City with her sister and her sister's husband. And it was just such a lovely, wonderful time. We're exhausted. None of us party very hard, not like we used to. I mean, we were home by 12 or 1 every night that they were here.
Well, we partied very hard compared to what we normally partied.
Yeah, because we normally don't party at all. Yeah, just a few drinks, but I posted something on my TikTok, but I can kind of post a list of the places we went because I'm always getting hit up by people like, help me with an itinerary. I'm coming to Mexico City. What should I do? And it kind of depends on if you're bringing kids or not. But anyway, it was a lot of food, a lot of craft cocktail bars that were special. And I mean, that's really it, and kind of exploring Mexico culture. But 3 days, 2.5 days is not enough time here. So you're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do. I would recommend something more like 4 or 5 days if you could get away. But yeah, we're worn out. It was so nice though. It's so nice to reconnect in that way with friends, that it reminds me of times before we all had children, when we would go hang out together. Granted, back then we used to party a lot harder and stay up a lot later than we can right now. But it was nice to just kind of have that uninterrupted conversation of just catching up and talking about life and reminiscing on stuff. So making new memories, really, more than reminiscing or talking about the past.
Yeah, I think it was great. I met your friend's family, her sister. They were really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it was such a great weekend. I think I'm from here, born and raised, lived here for decades. And this is a different Mexico City. Like this is a more vibrant. I was telling her yesterday, I don't remember which. Oh, we were in like Condesa or somewhere like that, and half of the people were speaking English.
Yeah.
A fraction of them were speaking other languages, and that's something that didn't happen as often when I was living here before, and it makes me very happy. It makes me very proud to have such a vibrant city.
I'm
Where
so glad you feel that way.
yeah,
Because I know a lot of the social media commentaries like "Go home," but you don't feel that way. Your family doesn't feel that way. I think realistically, most confident, proud Mexican people don't share that sentiment. So you're very welcome as an American when you come visit Mexico. But you're right. There's definitely some neighborhoods here, even for me, the neighborhood we live in. I do not encounter English on a day to day. Of course, the moms at school speak it to me, but everyone's living in Spanish. But then you go to Polanco, Condesa, Roma Norte, really those neighborhoods, and most all the hotels and any of those nice restaurants, anyone in the service industry will speak English for you. They will offer you an English menu if you need it. I mean, I recommend practicing your Spanish, even if you barely know any Spanish, because the mood for everyone changes. They actually welcome it and love it and are so pleased when you're trying to speak Spanish to them. Even if you're terrible, it's totally fine.
and you're doing
Brand.
much better.
Huh?
You're doing much better.
Yeah, I can get around.
Yeah.
I can order stuff, I can get around, which is nice. I feel so much more confident in the last not even few months, the last month
Yeah.
since we last spoke.
Oh wait, I'm getting a question from our producer. How are we doing with our training for the marathon? They asked.
We?
Yeah.
I don't know why you're grouping me in with your lack of training, and it's a half marathon.
How is it going? Do you feel ready? You feel prepared?
Well, I don't have to be ready yet. I have over 2 months.
How's the training going?
I actually have 2 months, a little over 2 months.
Oh, good.
It's going okay. I realize this is like where I need to kick it into gear. Okay, so we're done talking about, thank you for that transition. We're done talking about whatever we were just talking about, I guess. Yeah, I'm in the middle of training for a half marathon. I guess Fran has signed up for a half marathon that's a month after mine, right? I mean, you ask how my training's going. I haven't seen you go on one run.
You know that Michael Phelps, a fraction of his training is when he sleeps, he dreams about it. And that's how he trains. I'm in that stage.
Hmm. I haven't. The most I've done is 6 kilometers, and I have to do twice that, a little 13, so more than twice that many. So my training's going okay. I mean, the hard part about running is some days it goes okay, and some days you're just exhausted.
4 times.
Huh?
You have to do, it's 20.
Oh, 21.
21.
Not 13, it's 21, right?
Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Um, so anyway, I mean, it's going okay.
Are you excited
And
to accomplish it?
no, not yet. But yeah, the medals are amazing, the Nike medals that we get for this. So, no, I need to kick it into gear a little bit and start doing some more distance runs. But this weekend was not the weekend for that.
No.
I rode about 20 miles on a bicycle. We did a food bike tour called Food Hood Tours, and it was awesome. Tour guide from here, this guy, showing us around, get on a bicycle. It's a very bike-friendly city here. Lots of bike lanes on a lot of the streets. You get a chance to see all of the neighborhoods I mentioned a few minutes ago, and we stopped and supported, the whole tour is about supporting the real local kind of restaurants, but it's mostly street food, right? Tacos and juice in the market and quesadillas and the tamales were so amazing. Tamales and all, actually all the ones for the most part were all female. They looked female owned, like women just there making.
What do you mean by they looked?
Was only women working, and
Oh.
one of them had like two of them had women's names as the name of the place.
I'm so sad I missed it.
So that's what I mean by that. Yeah, I know. You didn't come because you were getting Remy
Yeah.
and doing some stuff, but yeah, it was so nice. The food scene here is just incredible, from nice restaurants, and I'll tell you what, we went to a super formal nice restaurant, 6 people, eating a bunch of food, drinking alcohol. Everyone had at least 1 or 2 drinks, and I would say like a more high-end restaurant, right? And was like $250 for the 6 of us to eat, like I mean, that's a nice, nice restaurant, you know? And so and I always think, gosh, that take that restaurant and put it in Dallas, and you eat a ton of food and alcohol, it would have been, $400 or
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
expensive for sure. So, now don't get me wrong, you can still find a way to spend a lot of money living here, living anywhere. But overall, yeah, it was great. But I highly recommend really in any city I've heard that's a cool way to explore. And now I haven't done it, I don't think, in other cities, but I think the kind of food and culture tour, I mean, I feel like I've learned more about Mexico history than I know about American history. And I took at least 17 years of history in high school, in college in America. And I know so much now about Mexico just from, Googling things, reading stuff online, being curious about the culture and everything. I've learned so much about um just kind of how this land was settled. It's so much older here too.
Yeah, we have centuries of history
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah. I absolutely I absolutely love it. So, are any of you coming to visit anytime soon? DM me, let me know. We're happy to point you in the right direction of things to do. We're in a dilemma right now though with holidays here because you already in America had your spring break. So we haven't had spring break here yet. Spring break is always around actual Easter here for us. And obviously, very religious area. And the kids have over 2 weeks off of school. So he's off of school here for it's like 2 full school weeks with the weekends and then also like a couple extra days on the other side of it. And, the parents are starting to send around Easter camps, which is great. So I sent you one a little bit ago.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 to choose from. And, you think, "Oh, it'll be nice. We'll spend some quality time." And then you go, "Wait, like all day, every day for 2 weeks? I have to work." I mean, we have to figure something out. So, luckily here, there seems to be a lot of camps. And you would think in a city like this that I mean, in Dallas, for instance, I remember trying to find a summer camp last the year before we moved. And I wrote them maybe like a week or 2 after the camps had gone live. And they, like, laughed in my face. They were like, those sold out an hour after they were posted." And I was like, "I don't know. I think as a first-time parent, it's really hard to be on top of everything." So here, maybe it's because there's so much more of it, even though it's such a big city, there's more availability, and kinda same goes for summer. Summer, like, what do we do?
It's creeping in. It's just
What do y'all do? Help us. Yeah, what do you do for summer? You find athletic camps or camps your kids are interested in, or you just have, like, really long days at home sometimes? Because, most people, none of us can just, like, go on vacation all summer?
we should do it like the holiday. We just trade homes with someone in Spain.
Oh, in Spain, I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
say someone listening, like, in Dallas, they wanna come here. I was like,
Oh yeah, if they have something exciting going on.
the summer's, like, the one time I think most of us crave to
Yeah,
travel
no, 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 not Dallas.
because
That
of the
wouldn't.
heat or Texas? So at least the weather here, it's not insufferable to stay through the summer.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but I think it is scary too, isn't it? Just finding some random camp online and sending your 3-year-old like, "I guess this is good for a few hours a day."
Nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking that you already went through the curve of trusting this school and you feel comfortable, and now you have all these like camps, like that art camp that he went to that looked amazing and super legit, but it was in someone's house. Oh,
Yeah. But I mean, I think they live upstairs in the gallery. It's like her
yeah, yeah, no,
suite
no, for sure.
upstairs. It was nice. It was close by, but I know what you mean. I feel kinda okay, bye. You're just leaving your child there. I mean, obviously, it was recommended. We felt good about it, and it was totally fine. But yeah, you do have to suspend an element of trust, which is hard for someone like me. Like, I don't really trust anything or anyone 100%, right? It's just hard to have trust.
Yeah.
I'm surprised and proud of you that you even like allowed him to go to something like that.
Well, it seemed
Were you there? Did you hide? Did you go? And I didn't know you were there the whole time.
no, the night before I sent the driver to put cameras all around the house.
Hmm.
So I was able to see what he was doing. Of course not, baby. I just like we had friends going, people that seem responsible with their kids.
Speaking of our friends, tell the story about Carla at school that day telling you about Remy and Macarena.
Oh, when they were.
Mhm.
So they're precautious, you know? Like when they were kissing,
Well, why would you tell the end of the story when I ask you to tell the story?
because I don't remember the whole story. I just remember the punchline. Babe, I'm
Oh my
41.
god, the worst storyteller.
How, what did you tell the story? Because I only know I only remember the punchline.
Well, when we went to Acapulco with this couple that we've become friends with on vacation, and we were kind of trying to figure out a way to enjoy our adult time while also having the kids enjoy their time, and we quickly realized, like, going to the restaurant wasn't the way to do it because they were getting burned out and tired, and so we put them in to watch Moana or something in our room, ordered them room service, and then we sat outside, which was really the way the room laid out was really cool, right? Because we had, like, an outdoor area, and Carla said at one point she went in to get something out of the room and saw them kissing, like, pecking.
I don't think I remember. Did I know about this
You
story?
you told me this story because she told you the story at school.
Shit. I think I'm going like old now.
Oh, baby, okay. So anyway, it's funny because then I've noticed some other kids at school doing that, and, it's one of those things that you don't wanna encourage that, right? Like, it's funny, it's no big deal, it's also like, because they're more like brother, sister, like, playing, and I think they know kissing because in Mexico especially, people are pretty effusive, like, that, by the way, has been the funniest thing for me to get accustomed to, and it started with your dad when I would come visit, because here, everyone kisses you every time they see you, hello and goodbye. Not on the lips, but on the cheek, and so you're constantly kissing men, like, quickly, casually, kind of a cheek thing, you're not usually putting your lips to the cheek. I'll show the audience, right, like this, "Come over here." It's more like like you're making the noise, but you're not actually making
Yeah.
contact. And it's so funny to me because I'm such a touchy-feely, huggy, lovey person,
Are you?
but I don't really understand the hello, goodbye, like, quickly at school drop off. Like, and the spread. No wonder, like, COVID hit it here hard because, like, if you're like you're just a constant kissing, hello and goodbye. I never talked about this. That was so funny for me. And I know it's customary and it's no big deal here, but like, it was so funny for me in the jump of like going to a new school, meeting new people, and everyone's doing that out of the gate. And I totally get saying hello and saying goodbye, but you're kissing hello and goodbye. So
And if you
every
start getting alone, you can sort of like use tongue and all.
I go through the entire lineup of dads, and moms at school, who's ever there in the morning. Dads don't you don't do it to each other though, right? Like,
No.
dads
Men to
don't do
men
it.
though.
Men to men don't. But men to women do, and women to women do, and so, it's kind of lovely, it's great, but it's so funny to me. So anyway, I'm sure that's where Remy gets it because we kiss on him all the time. Everyone, again, is very, like, physically effusive, I guess, if that's the right way to describe it, but I never talked to you about it. It was so funny
That
when I was
is.
leaving school, like, I just kissed
I don't.
dads.
Like I can see how. So there was a time that I had a group of friends in New York that they all peck when they say hi. They all peck.
Guys and girls.
Guys, not with guys,
Um,
but guys and girls, and not girls with girls either.
I thought this was your way of telling us you went
No,
through, like, a gay year.
but anyhow, so that was really fucking weird. And like kissing in the cheek for me is so completely natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see how it can be pretty fucking weird. Something that it was like happening, and I do remember with my scattered brain, is that one time I was picking up Remy, and it was a time in school that everybody was getting sick. And I was picking up Remy, and I was holding him, and I see these two kids with the tongue like this,
Yeah.
like pull
Like,
their
they're
tongue
wondering.
fully out, just crashing into each other with tongues. I was like, now it makes a lot of sense why everybody's getting sick. And I was like, when you see that, don't do it.
I know, no wonder kids get sick all the time. Well, they're always sharing stuff too,
Yeah.
with different water bottles some days. I'm like, "Oh my gosh," but Hey, we've been pretty lucky. It is what it is. But
That
anyway,
lunchtime is like a potluck instead of like a
the
lunchtime.
daily potluck. Yeah. It's like a free for all for lunch. But yeah, that's something I've never talked to y'all about because I just kind of accepted it, right? Like you move somewhere, you adjust to the culture. But I think that's one of those niche things that is quite funny because it's like, can you say that at every school drop off? Because, we go in with them, we sing songs, that sort of thing every morning. So I'm sure over time, when they're going to school, I'm not going to be like kissing every dad in the morning. But it's so funny to me because sometimes I don't, and you realize it's really rude if you don't kind of say hello and goodbye that way, like people take that as a little bit rude. But for me, I was just so caught off guard in the beginning. Like, I'm really supposed to like hug and kiss you twice.
Yeah, when you see them, you say goodbye. Yeah.
But like sometimes you're saying hello and goodbye within 1 minute.
Well, that's why you pick a school where people are a little better good looking, you know? So it's easy, you know?
Yeah,
You find an environment.
it's like showered and clean and nice in the morning. So
You
yeah.
find an environment where it's okay.
So here I am finding myself making sure, I brush my teeth and I maybe throw in some perfume and deodorant in the morning because you're about to get like real close with every parent at school.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it is funny. But I guess if you just grow up here, you're so used to that sort of behavior that it's normal. And I mean,
Wait, if it wasn't clear to you my culture when we went to La Lucha Libre, so we went to Lucha Libre, which is one of the most amazing shows I've seen. It's just outrageously hilarious.
I'll second this with Francisco because this was on my friends list and I've only heard good things about it from people that have done this. And you all also notice a lot of celebrities when they come to Mexico City, that's something they do. So it must be kind of fun and kitschy, but you had never been in your life.
I've never been in my entire life. And like the show was amazing. I'm not gonna talk exactly about the show, and think we need to. I'm talking about our culture. Like you go to a NBA game in the US and you see the kissing cam and you see people doing this. And everybody, in Mexico, it's like it's like
I'm watching people on the kiss cam like, oh my God, like it's R-rated, you know?
yeah, like you can see that that's like seconds away from baby making happening.
Yeah, so funny. But yeah, Lucha Libre. I'm actually glad you brought that up. We can finish on that today because I mean, I hate that it actually took us so long to go, but you all understand how it is, right? Like it's hard to be a tourist in your own city. I have a whole list of bars and restaurants I want to go to, but when we're parenting a toddler and I like our house and our life and you work all week and if you have any time, Fran and I go to I mean, there's a million new restaurants right around our house. So we're just like, let's go here and get a drink. I think that happens like every other week. We try and make time to go to lunch together or something, but in general, we spend so much time at the house that we're really not getting into the traffic. We don't have a whole day to do a bike tour, that sort of thing. So anyway, it was so cool to get to do so many things for one weekend, and Lucha Libre was just such a highlight. Perfect amount of time. It's like a couple hours. We only went for 1 hour, and it was just so much more theatrical, a little homoerotic, a lot homoerotic, which was
A lot of
so
crotch in the
funny
face.
because, they're like but way more than WWE wrestling, it seemed like to me. I mean, I guess all wrestling has a little touch of that, right? Not I don't think they're trying to be homoerotic, but like men naked, almost naked in metallic outfits, like using their hands, using the underwear to lift each other up for big falls and big jumps and stuff. It was so funny. We were laughing so
And they
hard.
just slamming their genitals in each other's faces, like just flying and genital face.
I want like season tickets, I want whatever that is. And I think the best tickets are $20, $25. I truthfully expected it to be pretty seedy, like kind of want, maybe in a bad neighborhood. And we knew it was in an arena, but I wasn't sure what that was going to be like. And when I tell you everything about
One
it
of the oldest
it was
arenas in
perfected.
in
It
the
was
city.
it was a petite arena, like manageable. You get out, they were selling stuff out front. I bought a mask, I bought Remy some stuff. You go in, everyone's in a really good mood. People had brought kids. I think it's like an 8.
80%.
Yeah, and it was just awesome. Like the energy of everyone. You get a beer, you sit down and you watch it and I don't know. It was just spectacular, spectacular. 100% recommend. If you ever come to Mexico City, that has to be one of your musts, aside from The street food tour, I agree, would be super fun too, but, like, that was so cool. So we were all just we were just laughing so hard. We
It's
loved it.
crazy. Like besides the crotch in the face, crazy to see these big ass men, like big men, like
Huge.
muscular big men, so nimble. Like they fly out. Like
They flip off the side of the ring. I mean, they have to be so sore at night, you know? They have to be just struggling a bit.
yeah.
But I'm
Let's say
so
whatever happens after the fight, you know.
that's so do you think you never had been because, I've actually spoken to a handful of my mom friends from school that have lived in Mexico City for many years, say they've never been either because is the impression that it'll just be kind of cheesy or kitschy and you just don't.
So this just started being mainstream as it is in the past decade, I believe, like maybe a little before then. But before that, it wasn't like it was a sport, like it was something that you see and people followed on TV. Like
Mhm.
people follow the fighter and their fights and everything that happens. And as Claudia says, haters will say it's fake, you know. But it was just in a bad neighborhood back then. Like it wasn't as gentrified as it is right now. And I can bet you money 20 years ago 100% of people were Spanish speaking. There was no American. There was no tourist
Do you
in
know
that.
something about Mexico that I find so cool? And I don't know America. I wish America did more of this when you hear what I'm going to say. And it's taken me some time to realize this about, for instance, the Day of the Dead parade. That wasn't a thing until the James Bond. If you haven't seen that intro to James Bond, it'll make you really want to come to Mexico City. But, the whole opening sequence of that particular Bond was that he was here in Mexico City on a mission and, that first 15, 20 minutes of the movie's so cool because it's a Day of the Dead parade through downtown and it's just like a cool action sequence. And that actually, from my learning now, never happened. I mean, people celebrate Dios de los Muertos here in different ways, and there were installations and stuff. There was no massive parade until Bond, and people started like coming, like tourism. Oh my God, I want to go for that like opening scene of Bond. I want to go to that parade every year. So they started the parade because of that, and I think that says a lot about Mexico because they've leaned into the appreciation for the kitschier kind of cultural things like that. Same with Lucha Libre, like, they really lean into it because they know I mean, it's such a differentiator, and it's so cool to kind of embrace that or, like the temazcal and having that everywhere,
Yeah.
which has been a thing more for natives, but now people are really leaning into that sort of thing, and it's funny because in America I mean, I don't even know what would be culturally significant and kitschy for us to have, but we don't offer
Rodeo,
things like that.
something like that.
Rodeo, I guess, we do offer that, but it should be happening all the time, you know what I mean? It should be stuff like that all the time, so when people go to Dallas, and I guess they have some events like
Yeah,
the
there's
stockyards, you can
places.
go every weekend to the stockyards, but yeah, but things like that. Yeah, really leaning into
Different type of skill, but I think it's
the things people expect from you in the
yeah.
country, you know?
It's and the things that this country is so rich on this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like we have Lucha Libre, which it was mind blowing.
Mariachi at all the restaurants. You have street performers everywhere when you're eating. So, and the mariachi at the nice restaurants, they're amazing. I mean, the mariachi is so
That
talented.
trio that
They
was singing in that
they
restaurant
the
was
woman, Lupita, the bird. What is that called when the bird gets your fortune?
yeah. That's exactly how it calls.
The bird that gets your
Yeah,
fortune.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the name for it. Yeah, but y'all know, like these little birds come out and pick your fortune out. So there's just so much of that, which makes your kind of day-to-day experience so
No, the
fun.
way that these people were singing the Happy Birthday was just like in canon. Like it was just
Like, I
so
feel like in the
crazy.
United States, like, the most culture you get is, like, a passed out homeless man outside of the 7-Eleven, you know?
Yeah.
That's, like, our
Well, that there's amazing street performers. We don't get those in Dallas though.
yeah, I guess that's more of, like, a New Orleans or
Yeah.
Nashville or something, right? Anyway, so as you can tell, I'm more in love with Mexico City by the day. I gotta head on a bit of a work trip this week back to Dallas for a couple of days, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always a little strange going back to a place Fran and I talk about. We both travel to Dallas or, and you go to Austin as well, like pretty frequently for work and events and things. And it's for me, it's very strange to go back. it's comforting in some way, but with like a tinge of sadness and a tinge of gladness also. Like, I love our life here and I love it, but, to be in the Target that used to be down the street from our house, and I wanna go to Target, of course, because I don't have that here. I've been missing it. I haven't been in a Target in, like, 7 months, and so I'm like,
Never disappoints.
so I wanna go to Target, but then you're in the Target where you have all these memories, right? Because I used to take Remy as a baby all the time, and I did every day, like, almost. We would go to Target, I would get a Starbucks, and so it's these weird sentimental things, which it's like, it's not enough to wanna stay living where we were because of the life changes we've made, but I do have that moment of freedom that I'm comfortably able to drive. I do kinda like that, but it's weird to be, like, in Target and then walk outside and be like, "Oh my gosh," like, I miss our house in Dallas a lot more than you do. I miss that part of my life a lot more than you do. And I'm not sure why, because I'm so happy here. But I mean, I could even cry talking about it. But I think it's because like we just had so many wonderful memories of Remy's first year of life, and a lot of our listeners have said that to me. They're like, "Of course, because that house for you represents, like, your first house where you had this baby, and he learned to crawl, and he learned to walk." And so, you have all these associations, even though a lot of days were hard and,
Hot.
boring and hot, and my house was a mess, and, like, all those day-to-day things hot, yeah. We didn't even enjoy the outside very much, but I do. I still going there, it's so weird to not have a home in a place that was home for so, so long. So, I'll let you know my list of things that I'm gonna hit up when I go back to the States.
It's crazy. Like the amount of things that have opened
Really. Just in the year we've been
just in the year we've been gone, and the amount of things have closed.
Mm.
It's just it start feeling that shift. You start feeling how things are just passing by in the other side.
Target's there.
Target closed. It's not there. They don't have Target
Taco Bell.
closed.
I'm getting Taco Bell this time. What else am I gonna get? I think I'm
Um,
gonna get Starbucks.
Velvet
I don't
taco.
miss Starbucks like you do, but Starbucks in Mexico is totally different. They don't have egg bites. They do not have the coffee is not as good. The Starbucks in Mexico is not the lattes. You get a cold brew, which is fine, but
You
the
can
coffee's not the
find
same.
the most, and I'm not say like in the U.S. There's many amazing coffee shops, but in Mexico, coffee is such a culture. It's such a
No,
because
I don't miss Starbucks
there's
like
some
you though.
coffee
Like
shops that are crazy amazing.
I don't miss Starbucks. Does that make sense? It's like I don't miss Taco Bell so much that I like want to move back to the States for it. But it's what do you call it? Like it's that comfort of fast food's really one of the only things those
Starbucks
places you
has
don't
the
have
best
here.
breakfast,
Yeah, so
like those egg
I
bites.
kind of
They don't
miss
sell them here.
just some of those things you really take for granted, the simplicity of some of it. So I'll catch up with some friends and do some workout at our warehouse. And I'm going to take my fitness team on a little quick outing. I can't decide if I want to. I always have this idea like an outing would be nice to go do something active together, like there's some cool pickleball places that you
Top
can
golf.
you can go to pickleball and then eat or something like that. But then you get there and I'm like, I think everyone would just prefer to like go out to eat,
Yeah.
not also do an activity. So that's kind of the funny thing about a small team. I don't really, I just ask them what they want to do instead of just setting something up since there's only a few of us.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have fun. And for next podcast, I need to tell the story about driving the cars back and forth because what I just got I just remember that because all I fed my mom throughout that trip because my mom drove one of the cars was egg bites. So I
Oh,
feel very
you
proud.
did feed her egg bites the whole time? Yeah, Francisco has an exciting story to tell, but we're gonna save it for next week about the 20+ hour drive from Mexico City to Dallas and everything that that trip over the border entails, and, me being here terrified for a few days about your journey, but he's here, he's alive, and his mom's
And it was smooth.
and it was about as smooth as it could be,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you gotta tell that story. You'll tell it next week on the show. Thanks for allowing us a little space to take a bit of a recharge and break with everything we've had going on. And submit all your questions, info@fitish.com or DM Francisco, DM me, and we'll get into some of your questions next week. We ran out of time today because some people were asking me about my health and wellness journey in addition to my half marathon training. So we'll focus on that next week. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.